This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you are doing well. Tonight we're going to talk about dreams, understanding your dreams, and what it really means. Okay, and I got some dreams to tell you about, and other people I've talked to have had similar dreams. So we're going to talk about dreams tonight. That ought to be an interesting conversation. I tell you what, I hope everybody's having a great weekend, you know, putting out content and entertain everybody. Anyway, I tell you, sometimes as a content creator on YouTube, you would not believe what they do to try to sit there and put stop signs in your way. Even just trying to put a title on a video before you like go live or put the title on a video if you download it in the games they play, where all of a sudden you're typing it in and your computer or your phone starts switching screens and stuff. It's crazy time. It's crazy time. You know what? I'm determined because things are messed up. So anyway, we gotta wait for a few people to show up. So send the notifications out, get some people in here, start having our discussion on dreams. You know, and I know a lot of people, they've been talking about dreams they're having. So this is just tonight, I'm going to talk about the dreams I'm having. And that I've talked to somebody else when I was telling about this, and he's having the same similar dreams. Anyway, you know, what your what you don't understand, your subconscious will, and I'll start kicking dreams that way so you understand. So anyway, that's what's going on. Anyway, I hear everybody in the Midwest talk about weather for a little bit. Just wait for some people to show up. So if you want to skip all this, go about 4 minutes into the video. But anyway, yeah, I tell you what, there's a storm headed to the Midwest and it's going to go east. We just got the wind from it. We didn't get nothing else out of it and stuff. We're out here in the Panhandle, Nebraska. And when the wind blows here, that means somebody's going to get a storm somewhere else. So, there's quite a winter storm going to kick up. So I guess if you're driving, just be careful out there, everybody. First time winter storm, everybody's got to get used to their winter driving skills again and just take it easy out there. Anyway, let's talk about dreams. We got some people showing up. Olive oil sandwiches. We got some people showing up. Like I say, if you hit that thumbs up, please, and subscribe and the bell notification, help the channel grow. I'd appreciate it. But anything to help the channel grow, because I don't ask for money or super chats or donations or sell anything. I'm definitely not an infomercial. So anyway, let's talk about dreams. When I was in Minnesota, this was during the Biden administration and Tim Walz as governor and stuff. And I was having these dreams where, these were worse than my Marine Corps dreams I was having. Happy holidays to you too. Appreciate it. Happy holidays to everybody out there. But I was having these dreams where I was like I say, these were worse than my Marine Corps dream. Not like it was violent, but the stress and the mental anguish I was under was crazy. I was like always in a big city, you might say. And I'm trying, being in the Marine Corps, I got the way we move tactically and stuff. Well, I'm trying to get out of this city. I'm going through attics, going through roofs and stuff on top of, anything. I'm never on the ground. And it's always like an adventure going through, but I can never find my way out. And the feelings that when I woke up, a dream that just really affects you a lot, that's the way it was all the time. And I knew I was starting to feel trapped in that state, especially with the condition, with the COVID stuff and all this stuff. Well, I was having these nightmares, and it wasn't just, once a month. It was sometimes 3 a month and stuff, where it was really starting to affect me. I mean, I even had one dream once where I was floating up in the air and not flying, but like my spirit was floating up in the air. I wasn't out of body experience. I'm not going to say that. But I was like looking on hell from above. And it was a terrible place, okay? But it's not so much what I saw that affected me. It was what I felt. Okay, and when I woke up from that dream affected me for days. I felt complete hopelessness, despair. I mean, something that if humans have to, all these soft humans have to feel in real life, they're going to be in trouble. I mean, like I say, this dream affected me for days. You know, like I say, like I was looking at the gates of hell. And like I say, the feelings I got from this dream, I still feel it. God, I don't want the human race to have to endure that. That's why I'm on YouTube. By the way, I'm having these dreams all the time of trying to escape. You know, like I'm in a damn prison city. You know, I'm not locked up or in a barracks or nothing, but I just can't get out. You know, I was saying that show Survivor, if I was on that desert island, they wouldn't have seen me. Okay. If I was in the middle of a city and they did that survival, well, I'd be the first one out of that goddamn place. By the way, the dream just kept getting worse and worse. And it's like one of those ones where you wake up and you go back to sleep and the dream just continues. Like I was trapped. So my solution was to get the hell out of Minnesota. And once I found a job on a ranch, it took me a while because I was older, a white guy, not an H-1B visa guy, so it's harder for me to get a job. But once that rancher in Nebraska said he'd hire me, I stopped having those dreams. It stopped that day. That day. It still took me about 10 more days to get, or a couple weeks to get out to Nebraska because of the weather and stuff. You know, I had to close things down. But the dreams just stopped. And then if you watch some of my shorts, if you like, go back through my content, you'll see where I was. In a very wide open, middle of nowhere, very peaceful area. And I never had one of those dreams that's there at all. And, you know, it was great. And that's one thing when I was out there, and, you know, I felt, hey, I'm in my bug out location. I live and work in my bug out location. What can be better than that? You know, we got less than 1,000 people in the whole county, where this county is just huge. I mean, just you had to understand it. I mean, it's middle of nowhere, safe as a bug in a rug. And then Oliver Anthony had to come up with that song. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm starting to feel guilty for sitting out there and having it made, not having to have any worries, no matter what happens. Okay? On the outside, looking into the rest of the world, saying, hey, when it all sits there and burns itself down, I'll just sit here with my drink and my popcorn and watch it all burn down. Okay? I was real. You know, when you feel guilty because you made all the right decisions and your life is just going great, because you see the rest of the country and the citizens of this country having to suffer under the yoke of this shit. Okay, you know, some people would say, screw it. You know, if I would have never joined the Marine Corps, if I never would have at least been concerned about my fellow citizen, right? Man, join the Marine Corps for me. Something I want to do, but I want to do it because I could serve my fellow citizen in my country. So, whiny. It shows how bad of a person you've been your entire life. Hey, can we get any more good insults in here? Okay? You guys got to get better than that. I mean, I'm telling you, you trolls, please. Be a little bit inventive. Dealing with you guys like dealing with a kindergartner these days. You're in elementary, throwing elementary insults. God, at least try something. Go after my mama or something. When do you think the world is ending? No, the world's never going to end. Humanity will end. When do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. When stupid takes over the ability to survive anymore. Is it going to be nuclear war? Is Mother Earth just finally going to have it with us and send out a real pandemic that'll take the country, to the whole world down? I don't know. But it's eventually coming, because the only thing human beings do successfully is destroy stuff and pass down hate to the next generations. Okay? That's one thing about inheriting stuff. Eventually the money you inherit gets passed down and it runs out. But the hatred that's been passed down through generations, that never goes away, does it? I mean, hatred through millennials, like in the like in the Middle East and stuff. Thousands of years, these people hate each other for the same shit. The only thing that's passed down to their children successfully was the hate they had. Anyway, having back to my dreams, I knew I had to get out, okay? I had to get out of that Minnesota oppressive. I'm not a good communist, and Minnesota was definitely starting to be like East Berlin with a bunch of foreigners in it. Like, that show Little House on the Prairie, Walnut Grove, Minnesota? I went to school there for 2 years. Town's been taken over, less than 800 people by Somalians. So we're Little House where Laura Ingalls Wilder used to run, that's been taken over by Somalians now too. Great, huh? Great. So anyway, and now I left the ranch because after working over 2 straight years without a day off, I needed a day off. And I got told I was on salary, and I'm, so I said, fine, I'll go find something else. But I moved someplace where it's still not a lot of people and stuff, but I can feel the encroachment of the government here. Okay, not like out at the ranch. I mean, I never saw a cop car didn't come down the roads. We were on 1-lane paved road. Like I say, you want to know where I live? Check out my shorts. Okay, there was nothing out there. We were free. And look at the wildlife videos. Yeah, those wildlife videos, I mean, it's nuts. We were in Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom out there, okay? And I had another channel, Lone Wolf Wild Kingdom, actually, I called it. And YouTube gave me my Lone Wolf Prepper channel back after they canceled it, but I had Lone Wolf Wild Kingdom on the same email, which is just no political, it's just animal stuff, nature stuff. And they won't give me that channel back for some reason. They say, I never had a strike on that channel or nothing. And they say that channel's too controversial. What the hell you mean? It's a wildlife channel. Okay? Too controversial of taking video of deer and elk and antelope and buffalo and stuff? That's controversial on that channel? Anyway, crazy time. But anyway, back to the dreams. I had to get out. And then I was talking to this guy I know the other day about the dreams. He goes, what are you dreaming? And I told him. And he's basically having the same thing, except he's running down the streets looking for the way out of the town instead of running through the roofs and the attics like I am. I'm doing it more tactically, like a lone wolf would do it, right? That brain damage is severe. Oh, well. Hey, I appreciate the comments, though. You want to call me crazy? Really? You're going to call a Marine crazy? Where did you get your first idea of that? No shit, you dumbass. Okay, I don't think your pussy ass would charge a machine gun nest when it was fired at you. Okay, you got to make somebody a little crazy for them to do that. Duh. God, I'm telling you, some people are so freaking stupid. Okay, so stupid. Try again better, man. Try again better. Your insults just ain't up there yet. That Marine there done crazy, a little crazy. No shit. How do you think they get us to do half the dumbass shit we did? The fucking dangerous and retarded shit we did. God, I look back now and I'm like, how did I ever do that stuff? Anyway, but it was a fun time. So yeah, all service members are a little nutsy in the head. That's why we're not called civilians anymore. Duh. Anyway, I tell you what, these trolls, they're even, the quality of everything's going down. And when the quality of being a troll's going down so bad, I mean, they need to go up on top of the hill and go talk to their instructor and get better at it. Anyway, but they try. At least you got to give them A for effort. They get a F on their project, but they get an A for effort. Anyway, I love dealing with trolls. I love it. They sit there and they make I must have lost 6 of them like that. Shit. Anyway, I mean, it's like debating a communist. It's so easy. All you got to do is speak a little logic and you're racist. You're racist. Any of their lines to shut you up. Okay? That's why I love being on YouTube. I love getting under the skin of some of these absolute retards in the world. I mean, some of the TikTok videos that I got to see of these complete buffoons in this country. Okay, China's got all access. They run TikTok, right? Do you realize how you Americans are representing America to China when you sit there and put on those retarded videos? When I was overseas and we would go out, ship the pole in the port, we got liberty, we had to sit there and present ourselves. We even had to wear a collared shirt. Present ourselves to that public as, the impression of what America was. We behaved ourselves. We wouldn't run around saying we were cats. There's a lot of mental illness in this country. Okay, it's all over TikTok. And China's seeing this stuff. And why does China want TikTok? Think about it, people. You know how much intelligence they're gathering from that stuff? They know where you live. Let's say you live next to Fort Bragg there in Fayetteville. You're just a civilian. But you're a TikToker who likes taking videos. And let's say they got 1,000 of them or 100 of them in Fayetteville that are taking all these pictures of everything. Driving by the base, even if they get on the base and stuff. You know how much intel that TikTok is getting just from the American public being fucking stupid by taking pictures? Maybe I should drive around these nuclear bases or these nuclear missile silos we have out here, start driving around them and start taking pictures. God, I tell you what, I'd have an Air Force Humvee up my ass with the machine gun pointed at me within 3 minutes. Yeah, that's one place you don't want to break down out here is by the missile silos. Because the first thing they're going to think is they're not thinking you're broken down. Okay, they're not there to help you out. They're to make sure, once you need help, yeah. But they're going to have that machine gun pointing at your ass with a bunch of, these new M16s they got. What do they call them? M4s? What, I don't even know what they are anymore. But they're all going to be pointing at you. Anyway, they don't mess around here. Freedom of press. The thing is, people, I don't care what your opinion is. You don't have to agree with me. Not everybody agrees. I would be stupid to want a world full of Toms. That world would be insane. Okay? Everybody who think like me. I mean, if everybody thought the same, well, we'd all have the same cars, same toilet paper, same apartments. They'd all look the same. Oh, like communism. You're allowed to have a different opinion in this country. And you shouldn't shut people up. If you're strong in your convictions and your beliefs and you are stating what you believe, somebody else coming up and stating their opinion and their facts and how they believe should affect you. I mean, if you're secure in your thoughts, how can somebody else's thought break your wall down? So the only thing you can do is shut them up so they can't talk. Anyway, everybody has a right to talk, even trolls on this channel. For there is be tops, there must be bottoms. Exactly. Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up. You know how they want to make everybody equal, right? Everybody's got to be equal. The only place everybody is equal is at the bottom. Okay? Because not everybody's got the same ambition, the same work ethics, the same education level, the same IQ and intelligence level. Some people are just meant to succeed over other people. That's why you got the upper ring. They're getting rid of the middle class, see? The ones that are above average, okay? They're getting rid of the middle class, whether it be through taxing. I was middle class. And I tell you what, you get punished like a son of a bitch. And you put in a lot of extra hours just to give the government fucking money. I walked away from that shit, okay? You know, all they do is tax the shit out of us. But everybody's equal at the bottom. Okay, you go to a third world country. I've been there. I've seen the starving children in my own eyes. I've been in restaurants, dirt floor restaurants with barefooted waiters. You ready for that in this country? Okay, they want to make everybody equal, believe me. And then they'll put everybody on universal basic income. So everybody gets paid the same. Prices will be, well, if your universal basic income goes up 3% a year, that means your prices will go up 4% a year. And why do I say that? Because I've seen it. The military is basically universal basic income in a way, right? You'd agree with that. Even though you work for it, let's say that's universal basic income for this example. Well, when I was in the service, and we get our raise at the first of the year, and the PX would open up on the 2nd of January, and you'd go in there, and you just got a 3% raise, but everything from toothpaste to clothes in the PX went up 4%. Thank God I could add, I took strong in math. But I noticed that right away. All they do is put more money in your hand, raise prices to give it to the rich guy. Things are priced on not what they're worth. Things are priced on what people are willing to pay for. Flat out. And, that's why let's make everybody a millionaire. Oh, that would be a great idea. Then all the prices in the store would go up to what millionaires would pay in Walmart. And when it comes down to the end of the day, you're still as broke as you were when you were making $20 an hour. Okay, they're not going to let you succeed at all. Unless you're a politician. I'm going to do my live stream on this tomorrow morning. Like a politician, like, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi, who's worth hundreds of millions now, or the one I like is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm a conservative. She tried to sit there and say she was all this shit. Really, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So within 5 years, you increased your wealth 35 times over. That means her wealth went up 3,500% in 5 years. I can't wait to do my live stream on that tomorrow because that's a bunch of shit. Okay, it's time this shit gets called out. And don't worry, she ain't leaving until she gets her golden parachute retirement too. I hope she feels she served the people enough because they definitely served her ass enough. Yeah, I can't wait to have my live stream about that tomorrow. I call bullshit. If you're not afraid of hard work, you can make a successful living. This is the thing. Are you going to play the game? Okay? Yeah, you want to work, bust your ass and stuff, you can become successful. It's not as easy as it was. I did it. Owned a business and had a good wage. But you know what? Fuck that. Being successful, you get punished. And the taxes you pay. Your phone never goddamn ringing. Like I say, they must have a middle class directory where all these charities are calling you up nonstop. And what I would always say, I pay enough in taxes. If you need some more of my tax money, call your politician. I mean, when I'm paying over thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in federal taxes every year, I think I gave enough to fucking charity. Especially these EBT people, the bad ones that don't even appreciate the shit. No, I live a simple, humble life now. And I sit there and deal with, I feel the, money, dollar, fiat currency is a necessary evil in today's world. And I'm going to participate in as least amount of that as possible. I'm not going to be a cog in this fucking machine anymore. And eventually I'm getting out. Next year, I'm finding that place behind me. I'm done. Okay? I have the skills to build a home, put electricity in the home by just putting a paddle in the stream, having running water, hot water and stuff. See, I know how to do all that stuff. I did more than, 58 years, I did more than just the same thing and it took adventures and never learned anything. When stuff goes all crazy, the people with the skills are going to have all the gold. Just the way it is. I mean, if you're used to paying for your services, for getting stuff done, you need your lawn mowed, whatever, your wood split, your car worked on, whatever, your food growing, guess what? You think you're going to stop still having to pay for that after stuff goes crazy? Like I say, if you got somebody that will exchange a skill, if they're willing to take that worthless green piece of paper and teach you a skill, I would take it. Because that's an investment that will never go down in value and nobody can take away from you. Your knowledge. Boy, I'm getting way off subject here, aren't I? Like I say, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe button, and the bell notification. Only got a few more hours. Well, this is the one thing, right, about YouTube and our analytics, the information we get from our analytics, right? They're saying my watch time hours are 8.2 plus million % over what they were a year ago. 8 million, 200 and some %. 200,000 some %. Now, I just wonder how many. So that means if I got 80,000 people watching me here, hey, I appreciate y'all being here. Because that's what YouTube's telling me. At least that's what one of their things say. Like I say, I need to take screenshots and start showing people that shit because this AI stuff, they can't even add right, all right? Anyway, so yeah, 8,200,000 some odd % up. Anyway, whatever. I guess, one number don't match the other number, but it sure does look good. That would make me the king of YouTube, which I don't want to be. So, but I just find it funny. I'm just trying to get the message out there. And I tell you what, YouTube and their games, all social media platforms are this way. And like I say, eventually, it's coming. Trump mega America. Well, and you still suck. Well, I appreciate that. Trump mega America. Well, good for you. I hope the troops ain't coming down your street one day. Hope you never have to go sit there and go through a military checkpoint. And if you're mega, wow. Democrats are in charge in 3 years. Then they're going to see that comment there that you put. And they're going to come after your ass there, Mr. Mega. Democrats get in office. We're going to have troops in every country. It's just going to be a military state. All right? So you all Mega have fun with that. I'm a constitutional conservative. I hate both goddamn parties. Both parties. Can't stand neither one of them. George Washington said he hated political parties because he said they're just set up to divide the people. Okay? Vote as an American. Politicians back then used to get asked how they interpret the Constitution and what they were going to do to protect the citizens' rights. Okay? You think that's the way it is now? These politicians go to college for years to try to understand the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and Declaration of Independence and stuff. In 8 years, they still don't understand it. They don't even know what shall not be infringed means. But the average man like me, who doesn't have a law degree, can read it, understand it completely, and not have a problem with it. Okay, well, maybe our politicians, they're smart. They go to college to learn how to undermine the Constitution, not to sit there and stand for it. All politicians are ignorant. So people need to get off with this left and right shit. Like the video I made this morning. Everybody needs to wake up. Republicans and Democrats steal your money through taxes. Republicans and Democrats spend it on stuff you don't like. Republicans and Democrats both try to sit there and fuck you on your rights. Both of them are letting illegals in this country. Right? So you tell me which one I'm supposed to support. I support, like I took an oath in the military, to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I took an oath to the Constitution. That's what I support, the Constitution. And until the rest of America wakes up and wants to defend that document, it's just a piece of paper with words written on it, and that may offend you, but that's the way the government looks at it, and nobody seems to care about it. I wish they would have put in the Constitution that our government's not allowed to go in debt. Wouldn't that been nice, something they could put in there? Government's got to live within its means. If I could go back in time, that would be one thing I'll tell Thomas Jefferson. Make sure you put a clause in there. Nobody has to be subject to medical tyranny ever, and they got to balance the budget. It doesn't matter. See, they're supposed to give all the information Doge had. We, as an American citizen, we're supposed to have access to it. On all taxes are spent. That information should be on the internet. And do you think our country would be $38 trillion in debt with funded liabilities? Like I say, it's over $1 trillion with unfunded liabilities. And who's the funded liabilities? Well, we definitely say government workers. I mean, if they had to cut something down, cut something off, let's say VA benefits or government entitlements, they would cut off VA benefits all the way. If they had to choose between government entitlements and government employees, they would cut off government entitlements. See, the government will always sit there and make sure it's survived, even at the expense of the people. When they have continuity of government protocol and stuff, in case stuff, there's no continuity of the American people continuing. No, it's to make sure the government continues. Crazy fucking world we live in. It is lonely being a pinhead, but not a Republican. You guys want to follow your fucking banners all day long, dude. I follow that stars and stripes thing in the Constitution. You want to follow a man or a political party? That's your choice. Where's it got you? Where's it got you? Is your life better? You paying less for food? Not having to deal with illegals? If you, like I say, you're a white collar worker and you sit behind a computer, within the next 3 years, your jobs are gone. Whether it be the medical field with data entry. I mean, even AI's taken over doctors' positions. And what the hell is the difference? These doctors don't know what the hell they're doing. The only thing they know how to do is hand out samples from the pharmaceutical companies so they can get people hooked on more drugs and they can make more money. Doctors are the biggest goddamn waste of time. You want to make yourself healthy? Screw the doctor. Go get a gym membership and start getting healthy, eating healthy and stuff. That'll solve a lot of your goddamn problems. Okay, but of course, the doctor ain't going to tell you that because that would solve a lot of your problems. Just like our government never solves any problems because then they would, they love problems because then they just need more money from us to throw more money at these problems. You know how much our federal budget could go down if our government would stop creating problems? Say they're our real enemy. I like to walk into a room if there's a bunch of fans of a certain team, boxer or Democrats, Republicans. I scout the area and just go against the majority. I love bullshitting. The thing is, like I say, on my channel now, I mean, during the election, I got my Lone Wolf Prepper channel canceled because I was really hammering the Democrats. Okay? And, oh, boy, believe me, the liberals on my channel would leave me nasty notes and da-da-da-da-da. Now the Republican mega people are doing it to me. And they're probably a little goddamn worse. So I don't fit into either group, but I like it. I like it. Let all those beta males out there sit there, I'm going to get tough with you. Whatever. Crazy world we live in, people. But, back to my dreams. Anyway, I just wonder what other people are dreaming. Are you having these dreams where you're basically in the Twilight Zone and you're trying to escape? You're a character in the Twilight Zone and you can't get out of the godforsaken town? Do you remember when, I don't even know who that is. I never heard of him. No, I don't remember that. But what was he, Libertarian Party or something? I like to say I'm a constitutional conservative. All right? And constitutional, a lot of problems with that these days. You'll have people that say that, right? But then again, they're for the rights. They only want people to exercise their rights the way they exercise them. If somebody else on the other side exercises the same right in a different way, they get all upset and say, well, you can't do that. Crazy world we live in, people. I voted for Trump. And I got kicked in the fucking gut. I mean, when he sat there and promised all this shit, getting rid of the illegals, he hasn't done nothing. H-1B visa workers are still up. I have to compete with those guys. That's why I can't go on a ranch no more. That's why I had to sit there and go back into my tree business. Because, I got to sit there, but I don't make a lot of money this time. I work my 3 or 4 days a month, and that's fucking it. But I'm sick of dealing with these H-1B visa workers and then amnesty to illegal workers doing jobs that he don't think Americans will do. Even you, Donald Trump, if you're fucking starving and nobody will pick your fucking tomato, you'll eventually pick your tomato too, you fucking narcissistic, arrogant bastard. Same with all you politicians. See, the politicians, Donald Trump is no better than Hillary Clinton. Oh, that's right. Hillary did say that. Trump was coming around to their way of thinking. They're all the fucking same. Every goddamn last one of them. They steal our money, try to take our rights, and just, they put America in a bad situation. And it just seems like they never have to pay for it. They're behind gated communities and armed men and all this other shit. Well, us Americans got to sit there and deal with the division they create. Remember that white couple, those white people that got the shit kicked out of them in Cincinnati at that jazz concert? just because they were white? All this shit going on, this doesn't sound like the country that I grew up in anymore. Anyway, hey, if you like the content, please hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and the bell notification. I know I say that, but anything to help the channel grow. Because YouTube don't want people coming on here and saying this. You know, my thing on YouTube is I believe everybody should have a social media platform. Everybody, even you trolls, should sit there and get out and make, a couple of short videos and express your opinions. But we all know a troll would never put their face on YouTube. If they did, they'd be wearing a mask. If they didn't wear a mask, then again, don't ever do that because I'm afraid of what you guys look like. Like I say, there's enough other videos out there of strange creatures called human beings these days. Maybe it's best you trolls don't do that. Bad advice. Don't listen to me. But the degradation of our culture, in our society, in our country. I mean, what do you think China sees when they see all these TikTok videos of insane people? I don't know how else to put it. They're insane. They're insane in the membrane. God, I bet you these Chinese people that are just going streaming through these TikTok videos from America, they probably sit there and laugh their fucking asses off and be like, we don't have to sit there and try to conquer this country with the United States with bombs. All we got to do is keep letting this shit persist for the next 10 years. And we already got at least 100 million people that would help the Chinese out if they did start invading us. I mean, if China were to invade the West Coast, where wouldn't they be able to get a firm beachhead supported by the surrounding public? Where they could land in Portland, Seattle, and Los Angeles. And they would be helped. Okay? But anyway, they don't need to do that. They know that. They just got to let us slowly destroy ourselves. They're just waiting for Rome to finally fall. And then, whoo, they will have a bunch of countries fighting over us. I wonder what that would look like. If America got so weak where like China and Russia would split and then they'd start fighting over the minerals and stuff, where they actually start fighting over North America. Think we could get that weak? That'd be some crazy times, wouldn't it? Anyway, this is what I'm saying, people. Listen to your dreams. If you're having dreams that are uncomfortable and you keep having the same dream over and over again, it means something. Your subconscious is trying to tell you something and you're not listening. That's why you're having it over and over and over again. That's why when I finally got that cowboy job in Nebraska, they stopped. They completely stopped. Like after having 3 to 4 a month, they just stopped, which was nice. I mean, it sucks being afraid to go to sleep because you're going to have another one of those fucking nightmares. Anyway, I'm just wondering if anybody else was feeling that too. If you're having dreams, and I'm not talking earth disasters, I'm just talking where, like I say, you're in the Twilight Zone, whatever your Twilight Zone episode may happen to be in your dream, and you're trying to escape it, but you just frickin' can't. You never have nightmares. Well, that's great, man. You must live a great life. I just, when I feel like communism, like I say, Minnesota was starting to feel like East Berlin. And that'll mess with a person's psyche. Especially when I was the one standing up to all this foolish stuff. Okay, I was in Minnesota. Never wore a mask. Never social distance. Never sat there and went the direction of the lines. Always went to work. Never took the vaccine. None of this shit. I never played Simon Says. And I'm in Liberal Haven, Minnesota, and I stood up to these sons of bitches. And I never ever had one try to stand up to me. I guess I must have written all over my face. I understand my constitutional rights. Don't fucking mess with me. But that was, psychological torture having to live in that fucking state. Anyway, I think a lot of Americans are dealing with the same thing. Like I say, you're in a Twilight episode, whatever it may be, and you're trying to get the hell out of it, and you just cannot get out. Okay, you can't find the exit, basically. And the dreams just suck. Like you're trapped. You're a trapped fucking rat. A rat in a maze. And every fucking corner, every street ends in every direction you're going ends in a dead end. Anybody had dreams like that? Jesus loves, do you have an overgrown toenail? I hope you can fix it, man. The trap is America. Yeah. Now it is. But the thing is, all these people coming here, the trap is nobody understanding the Constitution no more. Okay, I'm not going to play the game no more. After this winter, I'm getting out. And, be nice to be monetized by YouTube. Hell, I'll have to make about $1,000 a month. And I'm going to sit there and live out there like I got behind me. And I'm going to live free. I don't care about modern conveniences. Who gives a shit? We don't, where I live, we don't have a Starbucks or nothing like that anyway. Walmart's 45 miles away. On open road, not going through a city. And I'm going to get out while I still can. Before all these people that, want to sit there and support whatever their political party is, as long as it's tormenting the opposition. And I'm going to get out before we have digital currency, digital ID, universal basic income, and military checkpoints at every major intersection. Anyway, I'm going to get out before then. Be Mountain Family Robinson, all by myself. Well, not by myself. I'll have my horses. And I have one dog now. I'm going to get another dog. I think I'm going to get a German Shepherd. That thing's going to be protective. Let's just say that. But anyway, times are crazy. Enjoy your weekend, okay? Because I think this holiday season, obviously the stores are hurting. I mean, have you seen videos of what Black Friday looks like? There ain't very many people in the stores like Walmart, and everything's behind plastic. Is locked up. God. The world we live in today, nobody wants to do anything about it. They just want to continue on this old road as it gets worse and worse and worse. Well, I'm getting off the ride. I'm done dizzy and I'm sick. And I don't have any more money to spend on it. I know Jesus loves me. Jesus loves everybody. Even if you don't love him, it doesn't matter. Very forgiving individual. I'm not one of them. I'm not one that turns my other cheek too well. Either is God, the one who's in charge. So anyway, we got a world of hurt coming down. Appreciate everybody being here this evening. Like I said, you want to support the channel, hit that thumbs up to subscribe and the bell notification. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be doing another live stream about how our politicians seem to get so wealthy in such a short time when they start serving our country. Like I say, Marjorie Taylor Greene increased her wealth 35 times over. That's 3,500% in 5 years. and the IRS has nothing to see there, right? Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow because I tell you what, I'm getting sick of this shit. Because us Americans are tightening our belts and our politicians are increasing their wealth thousands of percent over a few years. Crazy time, huh? Anyway, everybody have a great evening. I appreciate you being in here. And make sure you always get in the position to be able to react to your surroundings. Everything's going to start getting tough, and money isn't going to be the answer in the future. Okay, the status quo is going to change. So just be prepared for that. Anyway, this is Tom with the Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.